Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're jumping into a totally fascinating, deeply philosophical dive to see exactly how ancient concepts can answer some of our most pressing modern problems. We're exploring this wild idea that a society isn't just, well, a collection of buildings, laws, and borders on a map, but a living, breathing entity with its very own distinct life cycle.
It's a huge question to ponder, right? What actually happens when a nation grows old? We think about people aging all the time, but societies age too. Sure, they gain wisdom, but they also accumulate fatigue, structural issues, and sometimes they just kind of lose that original vital energy. Okay, let's dive into this by looking at an incredibly powerful passage that perfectly captures this whole phenomenon.
I want to anchor our entire analysis today on these words from Swami Ranganathananda. He writes, "It has seen decline, but it has also seen resurrection, regeneration. When a nation lives very long, often such physical and mental maladies arise, but the nation becomes young once again. This experience is unique to India and has been referred to by many historians. This single paragraph, it's absolutely crucial. It's going to serve as the total foundation for our close reading today. To really unpack the whole shebang, we need to map out the distinct life cycle he's describing here.
Phase 1. A nation's long life. Let's look at the specific phrasing he uses, when a nation lives very long. The author is using this brilliant personification. A nation is being treated not just as a geographic spot, but as a living organism. And just like any living creature, surviving over a vast stretch of time is a massive achievement. It implies endurance, adaptability, and a huge repository of experience. And here's the kicker. Just like we eventually get bad knees and gray hair, a long life for a nation comes with an inevitable biological cost.
Phase 2. Physical and mental maladies.
Here, the text shifts into a slightly darker, more reflective space. The diagnosis is incredibly specific: physical and mental maladies. Swami Ranganathananda is literally likening societal decline to actual illnesses in an aging body or mind. Physical maladies of a nation? Well, that could be decaying infrastructure or faltering systems. Mental maladies could be a loss of collective purpose, cultural fatigue, or just a fragmentation of societal unity. Basically, it's an ailment of the national spirit.
Let's move to and see how this builds into a complete structural timeline. We start with the high-energy youth of a society, which leads into a sustaining, long life. But then, we hit step 3, the decline and the onset of those maladies we just talked about. Now, if the cycle stopped right there, it would be a total tragedy. But look at steps 4 and 5, resurrection, leading to becoming young once again. It's not a straight line toward the end, it's a circle.
Phase 3. Resurrection and regeneration.
So the crucial point is the stark contrast happening here. This is where the core optimistic message really shines through. On one side of the scale, we have the heavy inevitability of decline, those physical and mental maladies. But weighing against that is the incredibly powerful, uplifting solution: resurrection and regeneration. The text doesn't just promise mere survival, it promises a return to youth. The nation doesn't just limp along, it becomes young once again.
If we were to define regeneration strictly through the lens of Swami Ranganathananda's metaphor, it's exactly this: the process by which a nation, suffering from the maladies of a long life, is resurrected to become young once again. It's a cure. Honestly, it's the societal equivalent of a fountain of youth, washing away all that mental and physical decay accumulated over the centuries.
Phase 4. The unique Indian experience.
Now, the author doesn't just leave this floating as some abstract concept. He anchors it right in reality. He makes it very specific geographic and historical claim at the very end of the excerpt. This experience is unique to India and has been referred to by many historians. He's rooting this grand philosophical cycle of continuous rebirth directly in the historical reality of India. He's pointing out that while other ancient civilizations might have experienced those first 3 steps, youth, long life, and decline, and then faded away, India has repeatedly demonstrated the capacity for steps 4 and 5. And he notes, this is totally validated by historical observation.
Phase 5. Meeting modern needs.
Now, what's really interesting about this is how Swami Ranganathananda's book title breaks it all down. Universal Message of the Bhagavad Gita, an exposition of the Gita in the light of modern thought and modern needs. To understand why this matters to us right now, look at what he's doing. He's explicitly taking ancient wisdom, the Gita, and applying it as a direct remedy for our present day. Those modern needs he's talking about, they are precisely the cures for those physical and mental maladies of a long-lived society.
We can actually synthesize the quote and the book's title into a super clear, actionable path. Step 1 is the diagnosis. Acknowledge the long life and the resulting decline. Step 2 is the prescription. Look to the ancient text, in this case, the Bhagavad Gita, reinterpreted for modern thought. And step 3 is the outcome. Achieve resurrection, address those modern needs, and become young once again. It's an incredibly focused blueprint for societal renewal.
Which leaves us with this final burning thought. If history is truly cyclical, and if these ancient frameworks really do hold the key to modern regeneration, we have to ask ourselves, can modern nations overcome their own accumulated mental and physical maladies to become young once again? It is a profound challenge to apply this cyclical view of history to our own societies, and honestly, a fascinating lens through which to view our collective future. Thanks so much for joining me in this explainer.